This summer, Fabrizio Romano has mentioned countless of times that Chelsea will try to sign both a winger and striker. First, we were looking for a new centre back, a left back, a goalkeeper. That is secured now. Now it's about focus on a winger and striker before the transfer window ends. Are we going to get new signings in both these areas? Who knows? I hope that, because that would strengthen our squad massively. But I would only be open if it is signings that, in my point of view, from my perspective, that actually make sense, that will elevate our squad, that's going to be upgrades. Because honestly, I'm getting pretty tired of signing all these youngsters left, right and center. We have signed so many of them, so why not sign elite and experienced players that can help them, that will add some balance and maturity in the squad? That's what I would prefer. And now we fans have different opinions. We prefer different strikers, different wingers. We think different around players. And two of them that we're going to talk about today is players I admire, that I think is on a high level. You might not agree on that, but that's all fine by me. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, and we can have the discussion ongoing there. So before we continue any further in the latest transfer stories that's going around, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my page, and hit that notification bell so you never miss when the content drops. And we going towards 500 subscribers. That is my next aim. Mr. Mano coming out with the latest stories around the striker I have talked about many times on this channel. I'm a huge fan of him, and I would definitely take him at Chelsea any time of the day. So Napoli is keep looking for solutions for Victor Osimhen, as they want to bring in our Romelu Lukaku as soon as possible. Understand Napoli could also be open to discussing Osimhen as part of a Lukaku swap deal. Osimhen said yes to PSG, but deal in standby between clubs. We know Antonio Conte really well. His priority signing is to get in Romelu Lukaku. That is his man up front. But there have been stories in the current moment that Napoli do not have the money to afford Lukaku, which we value around 30-35 million pounds. Napoli have already made a couple of signings in their team this summer in the defense, and they need to sell if they're gonna be able to strengthen the squad further. And I see that we are in a perfect scenario here. We have a golden ticket to get Osimhen. We have the power, we have the upper hand in these negotiations now. We could definitely lower the price on Osimhen. We could even force him lower his wages, because if Lukaku getting signed, he's not going to get any game time. He has already been sidelined and not traveled with Napoli in the preseason. He's training by himself. So we have the upper hand here, I believe that. And Osimhen was first value around like 110, 120 million pounds. They can definitely be forced to lower the price now. We can play some mind games here, because Conte is desperate for Lukaku. So we could lower the price, and I think we can even lower it to maybe 80 million pounds. I think Napoli should be able to accept that, because that means they will get 80 million, they can spend 35 million of that 80 million on Lukaku. That means they will have like 45 million left to spend and strengthen on other areas in their team. I mean, sure, Osimhen really has high wages, no doubts about it, and he's really willing to lower it. I mean, if he wants to play for Chelsea, as he has been hinted on in multiple occasions, if he wants to play in Premier League one day, if he wants to follow Drogba's legacy, if he wants to get game time, maybe he have to rethink a little bit and lower his wages. Only then I could see Chelsea go in for him, which I really hope. A lot of Chelsea fans might not think Osimhen has been great, but Napoli was shambolic throughout majority of last season. Barely any player in that team looked like themselves before Spalletti left. Osimhen also killed it when he was in the French league at the Lille side, and I don't think Osimhen has lost it. He might be slightly out of form, but he can definitely regain it back, and he is an elite striker in my opinion. A real poacher, advanced forwards that loves to get in behind the back line, that likes to sniff out those second balls, arrive in the right time in the box, and he's very good in the air. He's fast, he's physical. It will also benefit Jackson and Mark Hugh, in my opinion, having a lead striker working ahead of him. And Nicolas Jackson can literally fill the wing role spot too, in my opinion. And they will learn from him, his finishing abilities and other qualities. And he adds you another goal threat, because Jackson is not that dangerous in the air. However, Osimhen is that. He adding that type of threat, scoring a lot of goals with his head. So I don't know what you think, guys, but honestly, I think we should bring in Osimhen, because we need more seniority in this team. Bringing in more youngsters is not going to help the squad, the players. It's not going to help Enzo Maresca whatsoever. It's time we bring in elite players or more seniority in the squad to balance it out and have a nice mix. That leads us to the next story, and we know that we have been heavily linked with Atletico's wonder kid up front in Samu Omorodion. And he looks like an absolute beast, good at many things, and I'm very sure he has a high potential. And I'm gonna give you my opinions around him very soon, but let's get into the story. Chelsea and the new manager Enzo Maresca like Samu Omorodion, but none of the bids have reached 50 million euros so far. Atletico Madrid count on him and do not want to lose him this season. We know that they sold Morata because they believe in Samu Omorodion, and they value, I think he has a 120 million release clause. But he also coming out stories that they wouldn't accept anything less than a 70 million euro bid. However, Chelsea don't want to give up on the player they think could become one of the most important strikers in the world. He's coming from Mundo Deportivo. We also know that Atletico is heavily interested in Conor Gallagher, and not that I want to lose him, but in a football perspective, I think it will suit him to a T at Atletico. I think of us, many Chelsea fans can agree upon that. He will be the real Gala dog there. I mean, Simeone is a real dog himself. It's gonna be Gallagher is gonna be Simeone's little pit bull. But yeah, only then I could maybe see it's happening if Atletico is getting a player they really want, and therefore they could sell Omorodion. But he will cost a lot of money. Even though he is a young wonder kid that could potentially become a really good striker in the future, it's only button ifs in the current moment. And I would, unfortunately, say no to this deal, because I think we already have bought a young striker in Mark Hugh. We purchased Washington. We have Nicolas Jackson. We're gonna purchase a striker. I want someone that is either experienced or is elite, because I want the best for the team. I want to really strengthen Enzo Maresca's side, and Osimhen is probably the best available and realistic option out there for us in the current moment. Purchasing all these youngsters is not going to make you win titles. Looking at other top teams around the world, they haven't filled their whole team with youngsters. They have experience, they have elite players, they have a nice mix, nice balance, and I can't stress it enough how important that is. I think Osimhen would be the right forward to go for here. So let me know your opinions. I happily read it and respect it. Let me know if you don't want or want Osimhen. Same goes for Samu Omorodion. And we can also have a little laugh around Lukaku because he's apparently back at Cobham and he's gonna apparently train there. I hope we have changed the lock so he doesn't come in. That would honestly be pretty hilarious. Moving on to the last stories, which is around Federico Chiesa. According to Gazzetta, Federico Chiesa's agent has been in London. Precisely at these hours, in addition to Tottenham, there has been contact with Chelsea too. Juventus want around 25 to 30 million euros, which should be around 20 to 25 million pounds, which is really cheap for a winger that's gonna enter the prime, that has the experience in Serie A, in Champions League, in Euros, World Cup, winning the Euros with Italy in 2021. Is further, there is some news, unconfirmed at the moment, about a potential offer from Chelsea for Chiesa after his agent was in England, in London. And this is coming from another two sources. One of them is a Juventus page. Now, I really admire Chiesa. That Euro 2021 performance really got my eyes on him, and I would have snapped in a heartbeat. He has been struggling with injuries, of course. He might not be his former self yet, but Juventus has also been very poor, and their attacking threat hasn't been that great under Allegri. And I think in a right setup, in a new environment, a position that suits him will elevate him. And he's a winger that works really hard. He's an all-round winger, and he's good in the defensive side of the game, in the press, and he's good when it comes to in the build-up play. He's good in the final third too. Sure, his stats might not see it, but his overall work and performances is solid. And him being one of the wide wingers would, I think, is going to make us be more dangerous in the press, in the final third, and he will help more out defensively than Mudryk and Sterling would do. And he's cheap too. He's also would add seniority in the squad because he's 26 years old. Now, I don't know if we have this under 25 policy, but maybe we can make an exception here because he is that cheap and he's 26. The only problem would then be his wages, of course, in Juventus, Tottenham being interested too. There aren't too many wingers out there. We're not going to make any expensive signings. Federico Chiesa would definitely do a better job than Sterling and Mudryk, and therefore I would take him. Enzo Maresca could transform and change his career and rejuvenate it. So let me know how you feel around Federico Chiesa. I'm a huge admirer of him. He has a good mentality, work ethic, works very hard for his teammates. He never gives up. So he might not be the most flary winger, but I think his attributes, and he will add much more quality to the team than Sterling and Mudryk on that left hand side. That's going to be all it for the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I thank you so much for watching. More Chelsea news coming out this week, and I'm out, guys. Peace.